Yay Networks.
Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Brit Mogensen, and today we are talking about the Met Gala looks. Now, over here at In the Cards and Stars, we don't do things based on like best dressed. We're not going to rank people. Instead, we're going to look at their birth charts, and we are going to see how their look either went along with their chart or clashed against it. And there are some really interesting things that I found out that I can't wait to share with you guys. Then we're going to talk about the tarot tea on Glen Powell and Sydney Sweeney. She was spotted without her engagement ring at the Met Gala. Okay. And people are buzzing. So I'm dying to know. We're going to pull some cards and see what's really going on with these two. Have they gone from on-set love affair or on-screen lovers to real life love affair? I don't know, but let's see. Okay. So let's jump right in, you guys. So the Met Gala theme this year was Karl Lagerfeld, a line of beauty. And the dress code for everybody was in honor of Karl. So I looked up Karl Lagerfeld. I did not know his birth chart. I do really like Chanel, and so I'm wearing some of my favorite Chanel jewelry in honor of Karl, or in honor really of this. But he is a Virgo. He was born on September 10th, which coincidentally is the day after my birthday. And I was like, it really made me step back for a second. And I was like, okay, no wonder I really like Chanel, like jewelry, because obviously he really influenced. And even though he's passed away, he's going to be an influence on the Chanel look for years to come. So I was like, that checks out. Okay, check. Carl's a Virgo. And then I started thinking like, okay, what about the dresses that everyone was wearing? If they were all kind of molding to Virgo style, a lot of these celebrities are, Leos. There's a lot of Libra in their chart. And so I was curious to see how this would kind of pan out. Like, would these looks be different because we have a more demure vibe for the Met Gala theme? Now, if you look at the Chanel aesthetic, of course, it's like tweed, right? It's like these little jackets. Personally, I don't usually like to wear Chanel clothing. Also, it's like very expensive, right? It's not like there are many reasons I don't just dress in head to toe in Chanel, but I don't know. For me, it's very, very like demure and it's kind of pulled back a little bit. It's very pretty, but very proper, very prim, very detail oriented. And that is very Virgo energy. So he really has that reflected in his sense of style, his taste. And we saw a lot of celebrities switching it up at the Met Gala, trying to fit into that more Virgo mold. So here are my favorite looks that I think really knocked it out of the park. So number one, and this one shocked me, but when we look at her birth chart, we'll know why. Anne Hathaway. Okay, and no shade to any of these people. If you were at the Met Gala, you're obviously stunning. If you are a designer whose pieces are at the Met Gala, you're obviously talented. So this is no shade, but I'm just going to be candid with you guys. Anne Hathaway, I think she's stunning, obviously, but I do not feel like she's had a lot of like fashion moments that come to mind. Like I can't really think of any standout looks. Now, last night, that all changed. I was like, she is hands down the best dress. She was wearing this stunning gown and it was tweed. So this was like a nod, obviously, to Chanel, but she was wearing Versace. And so there was this really sexy twist to it. And Anne Hathaway is a Scorpio sun. The energy of Scorpio and Virgo really blend well together. They're one of the most compatible pairings. So I was like, okay, that's insane. And she definitely was channeling that Virgo vibe with the tweed, but then the Versace slit with like all of it, like the sexy elements. It really just was like the perfect example of what happens when you get Virgo and Scorpio compatibility, truly. And we saw that in a gown on her. She looked stunning. I loved her outfit. Okay, next, Sydney Sweeney. So some people were saying they didn't like Sydney Sweeney's bow in her hair. I thought it was perfect. It definitely was like a nod to Chanel. Again, the Virgo energy, kind of demure, kind of innocent vibes, even though they're really not. And Carl, side note, Carl was known for being very picky, kind of critical. He said some things that are not so nice. We want to like, I don't know. I like to look at people's like good side. Everybody has good and bad. I like to highlight what people are good at, like what's good about him. And there was a lot good about him, like his ability to create beautiful works of art. So anyway, I really loved this look on her. She looked stunning. She's obviously a very beautiful woman. and she was wearing Miu Miu, which really like molded to her body. It showed off her curves. And Virgo also has this goddess like aesthetic. That's one of the other archetypes of Virgo. There's like the virgin, the goddess, um, also like Demeter, goddess of the harvest. They separate the wheat from the chaff. There's all these like different things that are associated with that sun sign. But when we look at Sydney Sweeney's birth chart, she's a Virgo sun born on the 12th. So I was like, okay, no wonder she was shining too. So we're kind of seeing a pattern here. The people that, at least in my opinion, really looked amazing, they definitely were compatible with Virgo energy. So this whole look for her, it was giving goddess. It was definitely bringing out the best in her. Okay, number 3, Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman was wearing a look that she wore back, I think it was definitely over a decade ago. I can't remember the exact year off the top of my head, but she wore this Chanel gown in a Chanel number 5 campaign. Actually, I think someone said no, I think it was like 25 years later because, yeah, I mean, it was stunning and she still looks absolutely amazing. She's a beautiful woman and she looks like this ethereal goddess. I mean, she looked so stunning and I believe she has a Leo sun. So, Leo and Virgo are not usually compatible energies, but we do see how rather than dressing in like a traditional Leo vibe where she was maybe wearing like gold or something that was a little bit more over the top, Leo style is really fun because like it is over the top. It is gold, it is bright, it is like the center of attention. We can see how she actually pulled it back in this look. It's this beautiful blush pink, very flowy, very ethereal, that same goddess like Virgo energy. And I think she knocked it out of the park. So she made an adjustment. I don't think that she was like fighting the theme or fighting the Virgo vibe of the night. She leaned in, and we can see how good that looked on her. Okay, last but not least, I loved Dua Lipa's look. She looked stunning. The corsetry, the way that this dress, like the skirt came out, it really created this like hourglass shape. And I thought she rocked it. Dua Lipa is usually not known for wearing like really super feminine dresses. She's a Leo sun, just like Nicole Kidman, and she really does lean into that Leo aesthetic. So when we see her like on stage or when she's just in her daily life, not being dressed for a Met Gala, she wears a lot of like leotards, a lot of skin tight outfits, things that really show off like her frame. She likes to do the gloves. She'll do a lot of corsetry, but it's not like a super feminine corsetry. It's more of like this badass vibe. And we see that she changed it up for the Met Gala and definitely leaned into that Virgo energy again. And I think it really worked for her. This is not something I think we're going to see a lot of, but I think she looked amazing and hilarious, you guys. She actually hosted an after party where she definitely dressed like a Leo. She had like the full getup, like the Chanel big, like chunky jewelry, very like Chanel 80s aesthetic, and this big like belt that had like the Chanel on it. Like she really, I was like, okay, now we see her. There she is. But she wore that for the after party that she hosted at Club Virgo in New York. I'm dead. I didn't even know there was such a thing. And I'm going to New York later today to be there like for the weekend to see my brother. And I don't know, I just might have to stop into Club Virgo. Like, what is this place about? I got to check it out. But yeah, so she looked amazing. I thought everybody looked stunning, but those were really my favorite looks. And the common thread that I noticed was that they all really did have that Virgo energy, which was in alignment with the night in honor of the September 10th born Virgo, Karl Lagerfeld, which is one energy Virgo, meaning someone who is like, if you're born on the first, this is someone who is very independent, someone who thinks for themselves, someone who is not afraid to share their point of view, which can obviously get you in trouble sometimes, as we saw in his life, it did. But it's definitely someone who's an innovator and not afraid to, be out of the norm, stand alone. So it was obviously a beautiful night. Everybody looked stunning. And yeah, I just thought it was fun to kind of look at their birth charts. So when we come back, we're going to do the tarot tea on Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell. Lots of tongues are wagging because Sydney Sweeney was not wearing her ring at the Met Gala the other night. Let's see if there's any truth to the rumors. Sydney Sweeney and Glen Powell have been just keeping the tabloids on fire lately. Here's what we know. Well, okay, so first of all, there's a lot we don't know. And that's where we have the tarot cards. But here's what we do know so far. Let's try to get to the bottom of this. So Number one, Sydney Sweeney was photographed this past week without her ring in LA. Looked like she was doing kind of like one of those paparazzi walks where maybe it was planned. She was wearing a full sweatsuit. She just looked very casual, just kind of taking a stroll. But it was very noticeable in these photos that she was not wearing her engagement ring. So, was that purposeful? I don't know. I've definitely forgotten my ring before if I was like getting a spray tan, by the way. So, there's room for doubt. But all right, so number 2, the next thing we do know is that the chemistry between the co-stars was absolutely off the charts at CinemaCon. I kept seeing this like on social media. I kept seeing it on YouTube pop up. I finally watched a video this morning, the one that everyone's been talking about. And if you haven't seen it yet, just go watch it and you'll be like, okay, something might be definitely happening here. But the way that she's looking at him at CinemaCon when they were being interviewed, it's like this very like doe-eyed look. And again, I mentioned that she was born on September 12th. So that makes her a 3 energy Virgo. I like to combine someone's birthday personality like in numerology based on like the day they were born with their sun sign when you're just kind of doing a quick overview, especially if like you don't have their birth chart, their birth time available. But yeah, so one thing I will say about the 3 energy Virgo is that they're like anyone with 3 energy is oh my god, Riley, our producer. Okay, Riley, listen up. Born on the 3rd as well. They're very, like, friendly, and so it might not necessarily be flirty. 3 energy is the energy of, like, open communication. These are people that are really social butterflies. Like, they will have a great conversation with someone and then turn around and have another great conversation, and then maybe they won't talk to that person again for a while, but it's like this just honestly social butterfly. 3 is, like, all about having fun, being creative, being communicative. Also, like, think about the 3rd house in your birth chart. That's also the same energy. Anything with 3 is gonna be that communicative, lighthearted vibe. So I was like, okay, yes, it looks like she is gazing at him, and it's very incriminating, but she is that 3 energy Virgo, and Virgos do tend to be very, like, open-hearted as well. So I'm like, I don't know, this could just be how she is with everyone. We'd have to look at other videos to know for sure. Okay, and then the 3rd thing we know, and this is, like, pretty damning. Glen Powell's girlfriend has reportedly broken up with him, according to People Magazine, and there's been lots of, like, brokenhearted, like, knowing your worth energy posts that she's been doing on social media lately. So I just feel like that's kind of a dead giveaway that something happened where maybe he wronged her in some way, cheated on her, or just embarrassed her with like all of this public, fawning with his co-star while he promotes a movie. That's got to be tough because they are supposed to be promoting this film, but it does seem like maybe they've crossed some lines. So anyway, enough speculation. Like I said, a few things we know, a lot we don't know. Let's see if the Tarot Tea Truth can clear these things up for us. So curious. Okay. So first, let's do a card for why Glen Powell's girlfriend broke up with him. I'm just curious about that. Let's just get some clarity here. Because of course people are trying to say like, "Oh, they broke up a while ago." But like is that just his publicist? I don't know. Okay, why they broke up. Okay, we have this 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. I am going to read reverse cards today cuz it's kind of a deep subject. Yeah. So the 6 of Pentacles is all about like friendship and giving. In the reverse, that's like the opposite of that energy. So this is telling us that like either they had a friendship, like the two of them were like close and they felt like she like could talk to him about anything, and then that changed. Or it could be interpreted that there was a friendship that he had that was no longer a friendship, aka the Sydney Sweeney thing turned into more than a friendship. Let's get a clarifier so we know for sure what that one's about. Ooh, I almost dropped my cards. That always means there's a lot of energy. Oh my God. Okay. 10 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so she was brokenhearted and she's moving past it now. Well, that's good. She's moving on pretty quickly, but she was brokenhearted. So yeah, I'm going to say definitely based on my intuition and what these two cards are saying, like put together. Yeah, I definitely think that there was a relationship that he had while on set, while he was gone. There was cheating involved on his side. Now, was it with Sydney Sweeney? Let's find out. So let's just see, did the two of them have a romantic relationship? Let's just ask point blank. Okay, so we have the Queen of Wands here. the the Queen of Wands is traditionally a yes card whenever you pull it. And this is all about like she's holding a sunflower, which the sunflower represents your will, your solar plexus chakra, your sense of self, and like happiness and joy, fulfillment. Yeah. So I definitely think that I think they hooked up. And I think that and I don't think they regret it because we do have this Queen of Wands, which is all about like feeling fulfilled. So there's definitely a connection between the two of them that feels fulfilling for both of them. I mean, we do love to see that, even though it sucks that people got hurt. Let's find out about her relationship with Adam DeVilo now, because she's not wearing her ring, but there's been no official announcement. And he didn't accompany her to the Met Gala the other night, but I read that he also didn't attend the first one, like the one last year with her, where it was like her first ever Met Gala. You would think that you would bring your significant other, but maybe he's a Scorpio and he doesn't like public doesn't like public events. Who knows? Okay, let's see. Mm. Okay, so we have the Ace of Swords here in the reverse. We're getting a lot of reverse cards for these two. So the Ace of Swords in the reverse is basically like not using your better judgment. So, I think that between the two of them, but that's also harsh, like speaking harshly. Let's get a clarifier to see if they broke up because this is kind of a complex situation. The Magician. Another yes card. So yeah, they are broken up, I think, according to this. You guys, it's just when the tarot tea just like confirms all your suspicions, right? It is satisfying, but that's kind of sad. So yeah, they broke up, definitely. And that's gonna come out in the future. But the Magician is all about like creating positive changes in your life. So I do think that overall their breakup was positive for both of them. So that's good. You know, they say a reason, a season, or a lifetime. Maybe the two of them were just meant to be a season. So let's see. Okay, let's do Glenn and Sydney now. What we've all been waiting for. Let's do a past, present, future reading. And then when I do a future reading, that'll be like within the next 6 months. So in the past, the two of them, the devil card, stop it. Oh my God. Okay, so there was attraction. There was something going on from the start. Not gonna lie, I gotta give you the tarot T truth straight. Yeah. The devil card. So this is like attraction. This is like when you know that you shouldn't be doing something, but you do it anyway. So that's the mutual vibe between them. And I'm gonna say this was like an instant connection. This wasn't something that took time. This wasn't like, oh, we became friends. And then one night we were going over our lines together and it just happened. No, this is like immediate chemistry, electrifying sparks between the two of them. And it was kind of like from the beginning, okay, what are we going to do about this? Because we're both in relationships. Let's see the present energy. Wouldn't it have been cool or like, wouldn't it have been crazy if she would have just like brought Glen Powell like hard launch to the Met Gala? Kind of would have loved it. Okay. Present. Oh my gosh, the Hanged Man. Yeah. Okay. Of course. That makes sense. They don't know what to do. They're like, do we move forward? Do we go public? Do we stop? Like, do we take a break? Do we like what do we want? Like, is this relationship like if we do like there's just so many questions. It's like there are so many questions. Like, is this going to affect their career? Is this going to be like overall a negative thing? Like, or should they just go for it? Will they last? Like, there are just like questions going through their minds. That makes so much sense. So neither of them is really like making a move right now. They're just kind of in this state of suspension. Oh man. Okay, well, what is coming next? What will they do? Oh no, King of Swords. Okay, I don't love this. This is not a good card to get for a future placement. King of Swords means head over heart. So this is telling me that it looks like that's so sad. They're going to choose their like what they think is best over what they really feel. And this could be due to pressure from like their agents or the studio. This is like a machine. There's so many things that go into their image and like cultivating that image. And it looks like, let's get a clarifier, but that doesn't look good. It looks like they're going to choose to not rock the boat and just, I don't like that. Two of Swords. No. Okay. We're getting swords. Two of Swords is like, I have my if you ever see this card, it's like there is a blindfold over this person's eyes and there are two swords, and it's like it's just like I can't move. I don't have any power in the situation, when really all this person has to do is put the swords down and untie their mask. That's the symbolism. And so that means, for like, they're both feeling like their hands are tied and like they don't have any power, and that's kind of going to be the excuse. But yeah, but they do have power and their hands are not tied, but it looks like that is the stance they're gonna take. Okay, that's so sad. I think we know the answer. That's the tarot T truth. And I don't know. I want to get one more thing, I guess. Like, what was the lesson in this for Sydney? And then we'll do the lesson in this for Glenn, because everything teaches you something. Just curious. What was the lesson for Sydney? The Empress, stop it. Okay, love it. So the Empress card is about like knowing your worth and stepping into what makes you a powerful feminine force in your life and the lives of others. So I think that, even though this might not turn out to be like a long-term thing, also the Empress is a 3 card, and like we said, she has 3 energy Virgo. Yeah, so this is her like coming into her own. I think that this whole situation has taught her a lot about herself, her worth, what she wants, what she deserves. If she and, her fiance did break up, it was because that was meant to happen anyway, right? There is not ever like one outside person that can cause something if there's not already like something there that isn't meant to work out. Like, no outside force can break somebody up. So I think that like this was maybe the push that she needed in order to come into her own, into her confidence. Wow. Okay. Well, I like that. That makes me feel better. And then what about Glenn? What was he meant to learn from this? Temperance. Uh, okay, I can't take it. This is so funny. So temperance, basically this is like keep it in your pants. But I mean, yeah, the temperance card is just like, dude, like be more balanced. Don't run off in any one direction. Temperance is about like it's like temperance is just moderate. Like stay cool, stay chill, stay balanced. Like don't make rash decisions. Like just kind of grow up. So, you know what? It seems like all's well that ends well. And I think they'll be fine eventually. They're both stunning and fabulously successful. So that was interesting, but that's the Tarot Tea truth. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope that you're feeling inspired to look at your own birth chart again. Find your style placements. That's always so much fun, especially like as we get ready for spring and summer. We're changing up our wardrobes. Um, Remember to look for your rising sign and your Venus sign to really look and feel like you're most beautiful, to really express like just what makes you beautiful and stunning. So look that up in your birth chart, and I will see you guys next time for an all new episode of In the Cards and Stars. In the meantime, be sure to follow us on social media at In the Cards and Stars. Go to the Brit Madrid YouTube channel to see the images that go along with this episode in the video. And yeah, have a great week. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.